Good morning, this is Catherine Grace with Catherine Grace Reports. This is a video in the series of videos, hashtag Becky underscore P20. This video is to explain how the whole social media thing came out between Rebecca and myself, and some of the behind the scenes, because this is not just social media by a long stretch. Because even though people talk about it on Twitter and everything, this isn't Twitter. This is my real life. And it's not over with yet. It's not over with yet. Okay, so I had written a blog about why I started this, and in explanation, because I think that I should give account for myself. So I'm going to be reading from my blog, and there will probably be another video with screenshots of what I'll be talking about here. All right, so I'm going to start. It started with a blog, has been blown up by a blog. I won't make any predictions, but I'm writing a blog. And this is from my blog at Deputy1958 at WordPress.com. So I'm writing this blog for several reasons, which I will get to, but this is to address the Rebecca Percy, Catherine Mancata, a few thousand Twitter followers, the U.S. government, the U.K. government, child traffickers, child molesters, varying representatives of the occult, my entire family, and any other interested parties. To start, this blog, updated since the original post of February 2015, is the blog post I read, written by Rebecca Percy, to put in motion my asking and bringing Rebecca to the United States, arriving in April of 2015. So, I had read this blog that Rebecca did in February of 2015, and by April of 2015, she was in the United States. Skipping all of the details between then and now, I find myself in the position of writing this blog post myself because things have gone terribly awry. Some may have seen the exchanges on Twitter between Rebecca, her new sponsor Wendy McGavin, and myself. The entire situation keeps growing, and I've been relatively quiet. For the record, no one wanted me to say anything. Even I didn't want me to say anything. It's out of control, and my family continues to be hurt. I will tell you, as a Christian, I am not so shallow in God that I would blow up something He took me into, something I spent 3 years of my life on, involving my entire family. I would not be writing this blog because someone talked badly about me on Twitter, or if someone shared my every intimate detail of my life with strangers on Twitter. That is not why I'm writing this. I want to stress that there has been a lot said about me. There has been a lot of direct messages, a lot of information given out about me, my personal finances, and God only knows what. But that's not my problem. I had a problem with it. I wouldn't pretend otherwise. That'd be ridiculous. Of course. I was mad, I was hurt, and everything in between. But it didn't make me or cause me to write these blogs or to go on this social media rampage. Okay, back to my blog. If you go on your social media accounts, post things which are dangerous to my family, that's what we are talking about here. So here I go. For some reason, Rebecca had posted this on her Twitter account. I don't know about Facebook, Vote, Reddit, Instagram, etc. But here is a picture of what she posted. So I'm going to show you. Maybe I won't have to make a second video. I'd like that better. Coming soon, the life and deeds of the face of Pizzagate. Becky Percy. Check back soon for all the lowdown. So On 12/10 of 2017, Rebecca posted from her Twitter account. Yesterday, I noticed this, BeckyPercy.com. Someone is making a website about me. But here is where it gets interesting. Then she posts some other screenshots of the blog post, which didn't even have anything on them. But I would like for people to note the date 12/10/2017. She posted that on her Twitter account. And also, well, maybe I address this in my blog, but she says, but here is where it gets interesting. Interesting? When I find, or if I found that someone had taken my name and taken away the ability for me to use my name in a domain, I wouldn't find that interesting at all. I'd find that far more than annoying also. All right, back to my blog. Rebecca had found where someone had purchased the domain site BeckyPercy.com and posted this December 2017. Rebecca was in Texas at this time with the McAvings, and the relationship between she and myself had completely deteriorated. Not completely at this point, but it was close. It was Christmas, December 25th. I did not see the post on any of Rebecca's social media because I have everything blocked. From this, BeckyPercy.com became a blog. The blog which has blown this up. I'm not giving much time to this blog. It's nasty. It's written as though Rebecca is in first person. It's also written as a parody account, which I will explain the importance of later. The blog also contains a picture of a then underage youth, my grandson. I'm not sure how many times the blog has appeared. There are several months worth of postings. However, I had found it on Rebecca's Twitter feed and asked her to remove it. It was in a thread with John Robertson from the Hagman Report. So, the Twitter account Hoaxstead had posted the blog, and then Rebecca went and quote tweeted it and said, "I'm so sick and tired of people like this. People have far too much time on their hands." So, okay. So that was on 3/25/18. So March 25th in 2018, the blog has several postings on it now. So on 3/25/18, when she quote tweeted it from the Hoaxstead Twitter account, saying, "I'm so sick and tired of people like this. People have far too much time on their hands." So when she quote tweeted it this time, it had several months postings on there. Someone had gone and written a bunch of blog posts about Rebecca. And like I said, they were written in the first person, and it was written as a parody. The interesting thing about that blog is that whoever those people were that was writing the blog, they had information that I didn't have. And I don't know where they got the information from. Also, the pictures that were posted with the blog that have the underage youth in it, those pictures were not public. They were not public anywhere. They were in a private Facebook account. with their pictures made private. So I don't know how the people got those pictures. They also knew about Ron McAveen, one of he had a business venture that he was doing. It had something to do with a hook that went on the wall that displayed ball caps. I don't know anything more than that. It was some sort of business venture of his. Rebecca had told me about it, but I didn't ever see anything about it, and I didn't know anything about it. But the BeckyPercy.com blog spot knew about it and had it posted. There were other things that they knew that I didn't know as well, and I thought it was a big red flag and pretty darn interesting. So I'm going to go back to my blog, but there were a couple of different places where Rebecca talked about the blog on her Twitter account. And in one account, she says that it's definitely not them. She can tell because of the wording. And then in another spot, she says that she thinks it very well could be them. So I have a screenshot. Okay, let me show you. This is the one. Someone says to her, "Bless you, girl, do you think it could be your parents trying to hurt you from afar?" And then Rebecca says, "Yes, it's definitely a possibility." Okay. Here Rebecca says it's definitely a possibility the blog is authored by Anne and or Lee Percy, Rebecca's biological parents. Rebecca had quote tweeted the blog. I saw it, confronted her, and she did not respond. Did not respond. No, I take that back. She retweeted her GoFund from her Twitter profile. That was her response. The GoFund that she had written fraudulently, she retweeted that. The one that reflected that Wendy and her family had been paying all of Rebecca's expenses, when in fact they had not. But anyway, she retweeted that. I was so mad, and this is, not part of my blog, but I was so mad. I wrote Rebecca's attorney an email and I CC'd Rebecca. So anyway, back to my blog. I sent her attorney, CCing Rebecca, an outraged email explaining. The attorney responded. Rebecca did not. Well, now I take that back again. She did respond. She refused the email. It wasn't just that I got no response. I got a response. The email was refused. So the blog showed up again on Rebecca's Twitter feed in the form of a mention by someone who had seen and read it from a prior post. Let me see. So anyway, Hoaxstead, the Twitter account Hoaxstead, they had posted the blog. Well, at that time, Hoaxstead had about 60 followers. And then I don't know, they had 60, 80 followers or something like that. They didn't have very many followers. So less than 100. They had less than 100 people to promote that blog for them because Hoaxstead wanted the blog promoted. They don't like Rebecca. So anyway, then Rebecca quote tweets it. She has over 22,000 followers. I don't know. I I reading my blog and trying to follow myself here. This isn't easy to do because it really is, it goes up my back. It pisses me off. It makes me very emotional. I'm not going to try to pretend differently. All right. So the blog was supposedly turned in and an investigation ensued. And in my blog that I'm reading from, I say I know who wrote the blog, and it didn't take much investigating. And what I had seen was I had seen Hoaxstead and some of the people that they shared some blogs over on the other side of WordPress, and I saw them talking about it. And someone had said something about, oh, what is she going to do? Take us all to court? And so they wrote that, and it made it sound like they had all like made a collaborative effort to put this blog together. So I thought I'd found out who'd done it. They have since denied it. And Hoaxstead is the one that I talked with about it. And Hoaxstead has denied that they have made the blog because of the pictures with my grandson in it. And they said they don't believe in posting children's pictures online. And I actually do know that about Hoaxstead, and I do believe that about them. And I don't think that Hoaxstead did the blog. The humor and the way that it's written sounds like someone, or maybe even a collaborative effort from some of the people, but over on that side. But I don't think Hoaxstead did it because, or knows who does it because they don't like pictures of children on social media or online. So, anyway, there's a huge difference between the following that Hoaxstead has and the following that Rebecca has. Hoaxstead promoted it, yes, but then Rebecca has 22,000 followers. Hoaxstead has no reason to care about me. They have no reason to care whether, my name is written throughout the blog too. And they, poke fun at me and they ridicule me and everything else. They're actually pretty funny, but anyway. Oh. Supposedly, Rebecca and Wendy had turned the blog in, which I have screenshots of conversation between Rebecca and myself on Twitter, and they would not talk with me about the blog unless I went direct message with them on Twitter. They absolutely forced me to go through direct message with them, which, what's to hide? How come we had to go through direct message then? It was all fine and good to promote that blog out on the front Twitter feed, but then when you want to talk about it, when you want to talk about what the reality of that blog was, oh, we need to go direct message here because it doesn't make Team Becky Percy look good. Sorry. They have some explaining to do. They have some answering to do. I have been ridiculed and thought of as extremely petty because of how upset I was over this blog. That's because people cannot relate. They can't put themselves in my position. Whenever you have Rebecca, who is her whole social media presence is being a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, of child sex trafficking, and satanic ritual abuse. That is her whole social media presence. Even in her business adventures, her quote unquote so called business adventures, it's still through there. The only place that it's not is the Dog Walker app. And so, for all of those people, you have no idea who they are. And many times, or if you are on social media and you are combating childhood sexual abuse or something like that, you get pedophiles and child molesters that find your accounts. They search hashtags, they find the accounts that are doing this, and they keep an eye on you. Some don't say anything. They just watch you. They're the really dangerous ones. Then there are others who confront you. Or then there are some that will take screen captures of your conversation from Twitter and go and put it on the NAMBLA website, which happened to me. And this was me and someone else. We were talking about childhood sexual abuse and child molesters and such on the main Twitter feed. Well, someone that was part of NAMBLA, the NAMBLA, NAMBLA, saw our conversation, screen captured it, and put it on the front page of the NAMBLA website. And between she and I, we'd probably, at that time, didn't even have 10,000 followers. Well, Rebecca has 22. Wider scope. And yes, I do think like that. And it's actually even a lot worse than that. But you have to, like, keep your thoughts reined in. You have to keep your head. You have to, like, just feature it. Put your child's picture in the place of the youth from my family. You wouldn't like it. You wouldn't appreciate it. You would be furious and you would do whatever you could to make it stop. And I have done everything that I could to try to make this stop. And for whatever reason, Rebecca has a huge issue with boundaries. She doesn't observe them. And if you go and read my blogs, you will see that there was a progression of, it took me a bit to assimilate and understand how betrayed I had been, and that the betrayal was from the very beginning, and that Rebecca was not telling the truth from the very beginning. All over the place, she was not telling the truth. And it has never gotten better since, in all the backtracking that I've done. It's hard for me to keep my train of thought with this, I'm telling you. I'm going to go back and read my blog and see if I can't pick this back up. One of the reasons I am writing my blog and others is to point out the victim blaming. If there are pictures of minors, they were already made public. That was said to me a couple of times. And in my blog, I said, yes, the pictures were public, but I was wrong about that. They were not public. I had to go back and find out, no, they were not. But regardless, they were not linked to a filthy blog. It was the filthy blog which was tweeted out from the Rebecca Percy Twitter account. Therefore, the Rebecca Percy Twitter account is responsible for tweeting out a filthy blog to 22,000 people with a picture of my grandson in it. I cannot express my outrage because the Rebecca Percy Twitter account wants to prove to all of Twitter they are being persecuted for telling the truth. If that were true, which I don't believe for a minute, and believe it or not, I do have some thoughts about this, and I have come to some conclusions about this in my own mind. But if that were true, Rebecca could have screenshot what she thought was pertinent, what she thought would be most informative, what she thought would be the most revelatory, however she would want to approach it. She could have screenshot things and done that. She could have written her own blog, refuted the blog. She could have done any number of things. Besides send over 1,000 people, and I can't remember how many views the blog is up to at this point. I think I count here, but it's up even from that. And let's give Hoekstead and that whole group, let's give them 300 or 400 views. Let's give them their maximum amount of views. That would be their maximum reach, in my estimation. But it's over 1,000 people that Team Becky has sent over to that blog. And she could have claimed innocent a long time ago. Could have. So what about the, 400 plus since then to equal over 1,000? If you were going to give Rebecca the benefit of the doubt in that way, I'm not. Because she said she did not even look at that blog. She didn't know there were pictures of an underage youth in there. She said it. I have the screenshots to prove it. Would you believe that? I didn't. No, I didn't believe it at all. There is such a thing called internet safety. People observe internet safety all the time. Parents teach their children about internet safety. I had talked with Rebecca about internet safety. She showed me exactly what she thought about my teachings on internet safety. As well as anything else prior to that. I don't know how much people know that are going to be listening to this video, but in other videos and on my blogs, I explained that when Rebecca first came here to the United States and they were going to turn her around at the border, they were not going to allow her entry into the United States. That was when she asked for political asylum. When you ask for political asylum, the government takes you seriously. They take you into custody to care for you, to make sure that nothing happens to you because you have asked for protection for credible fear. So Rebecca asked for asylum. She was jailed for 14 months. She has talked about that on her social media. She was jailed for 14 months. For the first 12 months that she was jailed, my husband and myself lived away from our home with family that we had gone to go visit for 2 weeks. It ended up being a year. We're paying for both expenses. You don't stop paying your mortgage because you don't live there anymore. And when you're living out of a suitcase, expenses are greater. And Rebecca had a pro bono attorney. She had a pro bono attorney, which means the attorneys work for free. There are many outside expenses where they had to be paid. Rebecca's phone calls to her attorney every month had to be paid. And if anybody knows anything about jail phone calls, you know that they're very expensive, which has, anyway, all of that. And then Rebecca comes to my house for 15 months. And then there's a kidnapping, which the kidnapping video is coming. I actually thought I would make the kidnapping video before I made this one because of all things. Of all things, rest assured, Rebecca and exposing the underage youth in my household was what got her in hot water with me. And the last time that Rebecca sent somebody over to that blog was on the 3rd of this month. And if you read my blogs, you will see the progression of what I found out, how I found out, and some of the insidious behind the scenes things. But you will also see where I said, Rebecca, if you don't stop this, I'm going to do this. If you don't stop this, I'm going to do this. I let her know I would call ICE. I would contact ICE. And she just kept playing. It's as though I became the establishment and she was in my face. And she just was not going to comply. She just did not care. I don't understand how mean, hateful, and spiteful that was. So, no, I don't give it a pass. No, I don't give it a pass at all. Other people have. Like I said, I've been told that they think I'm petty. That's because it wasn't your family member. I've asked, if people are so concerned about Rebecca, why wouldn't they say, you know what, Rebecca, why don't you stop sending people over to that blog? Why don't you stop causing extra grief for yourself? Rebecca, she's going to call ICE on you. Some probably did say that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too generous. I don't know. But what I'm going to say is that I contacted every solitary person that I knew to stop this. I contacted Rebecca's attorney. I contacted her bail bonds. I contacted my state representative. I contacted my sheriff's department. I contacted the sheriff's department of the county in Texas that she lived at. I contacted ICE online and I wrote them a letter, a snail mail hard copy letter. And in my hard copy letter, I wrote to them, this is my written testimony. I want this considered as written testimony. And I don't even remember how long ago was it I did that. Yet here we are, and this is, oh shoot, Saturday, October 19th. And October 3rd was the last time that I had traffic from the BeckyPercy.com blogspot to mine. Interestingly enough, someone somewhere along the line took the picture that I threw such a fit about. They took it down. I don't know, about a month or so ago. It, I don't know. People like Hochstead and those guys, they don't think that Rebecca is the writer of the BeckyPercy.com blog. I don't know. Why did the picture get taken down? Because Rebecca is going to have a hearing before the Ninth Circuit in December? I don't know. It's awfully suspicious no matter what. And no matter what, it shouldn't be happening. And no matter what, Rebecca shouldn't have sent anybody over to that blog. All right. I'm going to probably do a second video. But for now, I'm going to end this. And I don't know. Have I explained it? I haven't, because I didn't finish my blog, for one thing. There was more written on there. And there are a boatload of screenshots between Rebecca and myself, and how I confronted Rebecca about the blog and she jerked me around. They forced me to go into direct message to try and get any information from them. Um, and then still continued to send people over there. It couldn't have been any more obvious. Oh, well, Catherine, not only do we not care about the underage youth in your family, we don't care what you think or say either. You can take a flying freaking leap. But I'm the uncharitable one. I'm the one who doesn't know about love, patience, kindness, or any of those things. No, this is so wrong. This is so wrong. And it needs to stop. All right. This is Catherine Grace with Catherine Grace Reports. God bless you. In Jesus' name, amen.